good afternoon to you and welcome to Radio Nigeria South Zone News at 3. The headlines: Edo State Government inaugurates 11-member transition committee. Organized private sector calls for repair of deplorable roads. South African police officer arrested over corruption. Today's commentary is on promoting non-oil export potentials in the country. Details in a moment. 60, let's join hands to uplift her. My name is Rachel ONAH. Now the news in full. Edo Obaseki has inaugurated an 11-member transition committee with a task to take stock of his administration in the past 4 years with a view to ensuring probity. He gave the charge while stating the terms of reference to members of the committee chaired by Head of Service Mr. Anthony Okombua in Benin City. Harry Onowewari reports. President Electoral Commissioner of the Independent Electoral Commission in Bayelsa State, Dr. Cyril Omorogbe, has assured residents of the state that the commission will conduct a free, fair, and credible by-election into the vacant positions in Bayelsa Central and West senatorial districts scheduled for the 31st of this month. Dr. Omorogbe made this known during a news conference held at the Professor Mahmoud Yakubu Media Center in Yenagoa. The REC who noted that the commission is 80% ready and said certain political parties would participate in the election. State INEC REC also stated that 1,270 polling units across the 2 senatorial districts will be used for the election and that transmission of results will be done electronically from the polling units, as was the case in Edo State. Conducting election in flooded communities, Dr. Omorogbe maintained that adequate logistics would be put on ground to ensure the safety of its personnel and election materials to ensure a free and fair election in such areas. He also said the commission would ensure that all COVID-19 protocols were observed on election day. Federal government has been urged to repair deplorable roads in the southeast and south-south regions of the country. Members of the private sector in Akwa Ibom State, through the president of the Uyo Chamber of Commerce, Mines and Agriculture, Uyo Sima, Dr. Nseyen Ebong, told newsmen in Uyo that good federal roads in the southeast and south-south zones would ensure the smooth transportation of goods and services. Dr. Ebong urged Nigerians to patronize made in Nigeria products to help boost the nation's economy. He frowned at the fact that Akwa Ibom State was yet to enjoy a robust private sector-driven economy. The president of Uyo Sima expressed worry that business people in the state do not benefit from federal government grants. Dr. Ebong stated Dr. Ebong sued for government's partnership and cooperation, noting that the organized private sector was the engine that drives the economy. That Uyo Sima has been rebranded and established links with a couple of international chambers of commerce, among other bodies, with a view to exposing members to business engagements. Delta State government says its own tertiary institutions require about 1 billion naira for COVID-19 safety facilities as it reopened the institution after over 6 months closure occasioned by the pandemic. The State Commissioner for Information, Mr. Charles Aniago, stated this in Asaba while reacting to complaints and protests by students over the COVID-19 levies of 5,000 naira imposed on undergraduates and 10,000 naira on postgraduate students in the state-owned tertiary institutions. Correspondent Samir Ose brings us details. You're listening to Radio Nigeria South Zone News at 3. Here are stories in the bulletin so far. Edo State government inaugurates 11-member transition committee. Organized private sector calls for repair of deplorable roads. Still ahead, South African police officer arrested over corruption. Plus business, entertainment, sports, and commentary. Do stay tuned. The news continues. According to reports, more than 76.5 billion naira was paid to for the purchase of petrol by consumers since the downstream oil sector was deregulated in March this year. For details of this and more on business news, let's join Tony Ahibe. Thank you. Foreign news. According to investigations, Directorate, a high-ranking South African police officer was arrested this morning over corruption. The unnamed Deputy National Police Commissioner is the latest officer to be arrested in connection with a multi-million tender for emergency warning equipment. Former National Police Commissioner Komoto Palin is among those implicated in the case. He, however, denied any wrongdoing. Other senior officers have been charged with corruption, fraud, theft, and money laundering. Amy Coney Barrett, U.S. President Donald Trump's Supreme Court nominee, is to go before the Senate Judiciary Committee for what could be a fair reconfirmation hearing over the next 4 days. The 48-year-old conservative jurist has vowed to judge legal cases impartially. Democrats have criticized moves by Republicans to force the confirmation ahead of the 3rd November presidential election and amid coronavirus concerns. Ms. Barrett's approval would cement a conservative majority in the top court. President Trump picked Judge Barrett to replace liberal Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who died last month. Renewed fighting in and around Nagorno-Karabakh has shattered a ceasefire between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Officials in this disputed region report clashes in Handrut, despite a Russian brokered truce agreed on Saturday. The enclave is internationally recognized as part of Azerbaijan's, but is controlled by ethnic Armenians. Reports say nearly 500 people, including more than 60 civilians, have been killed in renewed fighting, which escalated last month. Armenia and Azerbaijan fought a 6-year war over Nagorno-Karabakh, which ended in 1994 with a ceasefire but no peace treaty. Nigerian pop star Wizkid reacts to SARS disbandment as singer Orisha Femi tenders public apology to wife. Hura Brezi brings us up to speed with the details. Super Eagles head coach Gareth Rowe is expected to make a number of changes in his starting lineup for tomorrow's friendly against Tunisia following his side's poor showing against Algeria. The West Africans fell 1-0 to the African champions last Friday at the Watsi Stadium, Klagenfurt, where they were completely outplayed by the Algerians, with Rami Bensebaini netting the winner in the 6th minute. Raw is likely to drop Onuachu for either Kelechi Iheanacho and Cyril Dressers against the Carthage Eagles. Talented winger Chidera Ejuke also likely to get the chance to make his debut against the former African champions. Meanwhile, Super Eagles underwent a mandatory COVID-19 test in the early hours of today ahead of the Tunisia clash. The test is part of FIFA's code and protocol for this pandemic period, as the team went through one on Thursday before the game against Algeria last Friday. Now the commentary. Promoting non-oil export potentials in the country, as written by Sam Eruse of Radio Nigeria Charity FM Asaba and read from our studio. That commentary on promoting non-oil export potentials in the country was written by Sam Eruse of Radio Nigeria Charity FM Asaba and read by Anieti Akman. To end Radio Nigeria South-South Zone News at 3, a recap of the major items. Edo State Government has inaugurated 11-member transition committee. Organized private sector in Akwa Ibom State has called for repair of deplorable roads. South African police officer has been arrested over corruption. As Nigeria clocks 60, let's join hands to uplift her. You can visit our website www.radionigeriasouthsouth.gov.ng for all the stories in this bulletin. For comments, suggestions, and eyewitness reports, email us at newsfrcnssz@gmail.com, or you can call us on 0810. You can call us on 0810 109 2407. On behalf of the news editor Victor Isoni and the production team, my name is Rachel ONAH. Thank you very much for listening.